It's not letting me.
I sent you that though. Okay. Abundance of gratitude to everybody coming in the live. Type and share the live. Science is the study of the natural world. So why aren't the natural ones, the organic ones? You know what I'm saying? Why aren't we studying ourselves? Why are we not studying and decoding and detecting all fields of science, which is explaining the functionality of neuromelanated people? So we're gonna let this live rock for a little bit. Are all black people the same? Considering the fact that we all have neuromelanin that makes up our DNA. It is found anywhere that energy needs to be converted. So that's in the entire body, from the brain to the toes. The evolution theory is the biggest lie ever told to so-called black people. This is the only reason why we're living in a totalitarian, capitalistic system that was made to snatch starseed, neuromelanated children.
Biggest lie ever told. And they're teaching it to children in schools right now while the top scientists in the world are debunking this theory every day. We can connect like 10 branches of science right now and debunk evolution. It's that simple. You see what I'm saying? This is the most discussed thing, I would say. How these people got on the planet is the number one question in the world. How cats, dogs, pigs, horses, how all these things with introgress DNA got on the planet is the number one question in the world. And if we can't explain, if these people can't explain their existence, then we shouldn't even be getting medically or psychologically evaluated by people that can't even explain how they got on the planet.
Yeah. So that's what these lives are about. To bring awareness to our people who still believe that they need to work on the planet to get water, to have natural fruit and vegetables, to have shelter, to have electricity. All of that information on how to do that it's already in your DEA, your DNA, passed down from eons and eons of ancestors that look just like us, that's been on this planet. We've been through this so many times. The sun up there has been through life so many times. The earth has been through cycles so many times. The first law, if y'all know about thermodynamics, energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy is electrons. Electrons makes up everything that is natural. So you cannot destroy this energy. It can only change and transform. Abundance, everybody. Abundance.
When you're talking about shapeshifters, the greatest shapeshifter is us. We're able to take any shape, any form, because we're ubiquitous and an amorphous species. what functions our body, what helps our brain run, what the morphic resonance or the morphic field that functions our cells is the same thing as the fabric of the universe. That's the same fabric. That's the same cloth. That's the same knitting. That's the same thing. It's one and the same. So the fact that elephants are eumelanated or lions are pheomelanated, that's another fabric of the universe. But when we start looking at in vitro neuromelanin, in vitro pheomelanin, and eumelanin, that's the universe don't create that. You see what I'm saying? And how can we tell that? Based off of the biochemical, the biochemistry, based off of embryonic origin. How well are you able to adapt to this environment? What is driving your so-called evolution? Is it biogenesis or is it spontaneous generation? Is it calcium ionospheres or is it atoms?
Yep, because when organisms evolve, they evolve to utilize photons at a higher percentage in their body. Y'all, again, y'all, every time you bring up evolution is about moving away from the sun. And the sun is the most primary source of energy for all organisms on this planet.
And if evolution didn't happen the same for us, then how could we call it evolution? If we didn't evolve the same, then how are we the same? How do we have the same starting point, but we didn't end up the same? What happened? Atoms versus calcium ionospheres, biogenesis versus spontaneous gen.
Natural melanin versus unnatural melanin.
Eight boxes are open. Is it 8? Yep, 8 boxes are open.
Yep. And we'll see we're just gonna let this run. If nobody just will run it back on my backup. We're gonna keep coming back.
Oh yeah, for sure. They took both of my pages down, so I don't care. You see what I'm saying? We're gonna have to start pushing it on other platforms. Facebook, I'm probably making Facebook today. Probably go ahead and get back on my Instagram today. Definitely finna start going live from YouTube. You see what I'm saying? The message doesn't stop. I don't know why they doing that. Like that's gonna shut me up or something like that. The truth, somebody gotta talk about the truth. If none of my other people want to do it, we will. If y'all just want to sit and listen and help our people wake up, be my guest. That means that you still sleep. If you can't push the truth about your DNA, your DEA by now, you sleep, man. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. You see what I'm saying? So the message does not stop because the sun is shining every single day. The earth is still rotating, vibing at its feet every single day.
No matter how much concrete, asphalt you try to put on Mother Earth, you will still see grass, different flowers burst their way through metal. Somebody. There's a lot of commotion in the back, y'all.
Yeah, train's loud.
But yeah, our people gotta really understand ourselves. If we don't understand ourselves, we cannot move forward as a species. How many times are you confronting yourselves on a daily basis? Are you building the first relationship you should build is one with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Build trust within yourself. Build discipline within yourself. How do you communicate with yourself? Do you judge yourself every 5 minutes? Or is that the reason why you do it to your brothers and sisters? This is why we have to think about that. And that starts with your DNA. How atoms change into a molecule, that's a story. That's telling us a story right there. That's something that we have to understand how it happens. If electrons control the chemical bonds within the atom, we have to understand why. They're the glue. Do you see their nature when they speak? You have to watch.
You're like not in the mood, but you're in the mood to type about it. So that means that if you're thinking about it, then I don't have time. The thing is evolution is the biggest lie ever told. You need to listen to what your doctors, the top evolutionary biologists, cell biologists, what they're saying about melanin.
Yep.
You need to understand, because evolution is a genotypic change. So that means that you would actually have to have a base understanding of genetics and biology of all organisms, as many as you can.
Facts.
Microorganisms, plants, animals, insects, and even so-called humans. That's going to require you to study everything about this atmosphere and everything that's taking place to this planet. I'm always in the mood to talk about the truth. I don't give a fuck. Man, it'd be 1, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It doesn't matter. Like, that's biology is the study of life.
Literally.
You are always living your life.
No matter if you get put on another planet right now, you're always going to have to think. You're going to have your mind to think, to observe what? Life. They're telling you that they're finding, these exobiologists are telling you they're finding water on other planets. Okay, if you find water on another planet, that means melanin is very close by.
Yep.
Melanin needs to be around water, and water needs to be around melanin for that functionality to occur for a planet to spin. That literally is the key right there. Neuromelanin is the chemical key to life. It is the core of consciousness. This is what our ancestors, our ancient ones, our ancient natural ones called the soul. The soul is what? It's the sun. So if I see that chemistry deals with substances, this has to be a biological living light.
Facts.
There's what other name can you call that other than biological living light?
Exactly. That's why we talk about the biochemical substance that functions our cells. That's why it's important. Our people think it's about being so-called black. It's not about being so-called black. It's about what that black is composed of. Because when the scientists, when they talk about our melanin, they say it is black.
Jet black.
Jet black. So why would they call us so-called black? And people are like, we're not even black. Are you sure? Are you positive? You sure about that? Think about it on a deeper level, because your cells is what's functioning who you are. Your DNA makes you who you are. That substance that separates us from everybody else is indeed black. Very black.
And what makes our neuromelanin black is the carbon 7 and carbon 12.
Yep.
Which are highly crystalline structures that you find in space. We are hydrocarbon. Look up hydrocarbon crystalline structures. They will tell you that's stardust. Stardust is what? Connected to genes and chemicals. And these genes and chemicals, the first cell that it becomes is the prokaryotic cell.
Right. Now, the thing is that the titles don't matter, right? Whether we're black or so-called whatever title, Congolese, Nigerian, Caribbean, whatever the title is not telling us about our DNA. Our DNA is saying that we are neuromelanated individuals. We're a neuromelanated species.
That we're divinely, magnetically, genetically connected to each other, to the sun, to the universe, to the solar system. We are connected to everything on this realm.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're not seeing this.
Thanks.
So go ahead, Alvin. You wanted to speak on the topic. Go ahead and tell me your thoughts and visions.
You're off the app. We can't hear you. Unless it's an accident that you requested up.
All right. If you really want to come back, you can come back up and request back up. But y'all got to realize why they're abusing us so much. Racism doesn't exist. They're an unnatural organism that's trying to find their way through life in a natural environment. And they need the highest extension of energy, which is the neuromelanated women, to do that. All we have, if we was to move to the other side of the planet, the sun will move with us. The water will move with us. The places where there were deserts at, where you see deserts are at, those were filled with water. That's the bottoms of oceans. That shows that neuromelanated people was in that area. We magnetically charge all the atoms within our environment, local and non-local. But I was trying to see if people was gonna come up and talk about the topic. I've been seeing people come in and out.
I'm probably not pushing it.
I've always said there's another reason. Yep, it's a genetic and biological reasoning for everything that occurs in life.
Facts. These people are doing what they're doing because of genetic expression. And that's why it almost breaks my heart when I see our people on here every single day discussing racism with these people, not understanding that it's their genes.
Why do they treat us the way that they do?
Because of their
Why do they do
genetics.
this? Why do they do that?
Yeah.
It's because of their genetic makeup. Your
Facts.
your psychological state of mind, your mental state of mind is directly connected and influenced by your genetics.
That's it.
That's it. So they're behaving that way because they share DNA with pigs, dogs, cat, mice, fruit fly, yeast. When you watch just watch a documentary on all these unnatural organisms and watch how they think.
You'll actually be surprised. You think that like a pig would just, do whatever they show you like in movies and shit. Go actually study it. You think chimpanzees are just swinging from vine to vine. Go actually study how they grape each other also. How they fight over territory. How there's a 218-year WAR between, is it great apes or apes?
Chimpanzees. They've been fighting a war for 250 years on a planet that they're not natural to. Who does that sound like?
Yeah.
Who does that sound like? So that means they're not just unaliving each other, they're unaliving anything that they don't fuck with in their so-called, what they classify as their territory, or their country, or their region.
A bonobo monkey, which they share 86% with, literally will also, they eat termites, fruits, and will eat a flamingo, which is almost the same size as them, if not bigger. Their diet makes no sense. And this is the reason why when you look at the food pyramid, the same thing that these organisms eat is the same thing that's on the food pyramid. Literally. It's because they share animal proteins. They make animal proteins. They have those same animal enzymes. Go ahead, Art Akaba.
Yeah. Go ahead and share your thoughts and visions on the topic. Thank you for your patience. I don't know. Maybe y'all coming up here by because y'all not saying nothing. But if y'all want to come up, you can request back up. I just got to take you off because, you know what I'm saying? Maybe more people want to occupy that space. But yeah, we have to see this. When you see the sun, the sun is a conscious being, the earth is a conscious being. When you study their cycles and rhythms, then look at your cells. Read about prokaryotic cells. Then read about melanin.
Yeah, if you don't understand the difference in melanin, you don't understand yourself or your DNA. Because the DNA that you have is equally the type of melanin you have is equally explaining your DNA. It's either telling me that you have a nucleus, all of your DNA is communicating through a nucleus, or it's telling me that you have a nucleoid region. Because that melanin has to spin.
Yeah.
And where is that taking place? Is it happening within the nucleus? Is it the nucleus or is it the nucleoid region? How does it express? Right? There's no such thing as melanin. Y'all got to understand that. There's no such thing as one base melanin. No. If that's the case, we would look like ants, and ants would look like bees. It would just be one single phenotype for all life forms on the planet. Right? But there's 8 different types. 5 that are natural, 3 that are synthetic. So the type of melanin you have, yes, it does equally explain the DNA that you have. It sure does. And if we had the same type of melanin as these people, we would phenotypically look the same. So we got to understand, when y'all say things like, oh, we just have more melanin than them, that means that y'all would literally look the same. It would just be that you would be the same color as them and on the opposite end of the same spectrum.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. They have a completely different melanin type. All right. Now, I just got my page taken. I had all my books posted on the page, but Why Darkness Matters is written by 4 BLK neuroscientists. Dr. Richard King, Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, Dr. T. Owens Moore, and Dr. Ann C. Brown. All right. They literally prove that we have a different melanin type that functions. Our cells is present in embryogenesis. All right. And the morphic resonance is another book that I'll reference for this conversation, written by Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. It's called Morphic Resonance. The morphic field, the morphic resonance is responsible for pulling the cells into existence physically to create the body.
Yep.
Right? So these people don't have a morphic field.
Yep. Something physical created them.
Correct.
Metaphysical subatomical particles is what created us, and they're coded in neuromelanin as well. And the morphic resonance is when this morphic field rearranges these subatomical particles and they make them vibrate at 432 hertz, structure them in sacred geometrical shapes to create the neuromelanated body. This is what happens. And every time a neuromelanated child is born, that is the latest update of our species. For that child to be born, they had to pull in the information and memory of all neuromelanated beings on the planet to get stored into that child. So everything that you've done in your life, a child that was born in Jamaica has that information. That's why this matters. That's why every choice that you make matters. Because the matter comes from invisible matter, electrons.
Go ahead, Sierra.
Hey, say Rob, Black. I agree with your prompt. I agree with it. I'm not. I got into a little bit of science. Well, more than a little bit. Leaky, Mendel, and things of that nature. But what you're saying makes absolutely perfect sense. There is no way that we evolved from monkeys and apes. That doesn't make sense. But I get into a lot of people who talk about Homo sapien sapien, Homo, all that type of stuff. But I'm like, okay, we don't have those scientific institutions to kind of do that deep dive. But we do have some black people that's involved in those fields. I think at some point I'm going to get more involved in it because I want to be able to speak on it a lot more fluid. But I don't believe we evolved from monkeys and apes at all.
What about the second prompt? What about the second
I didn't see
question?
that. I thought it was just one prompt. Okay, are black people the same? Neuromelanin, the same? What do you mean?
What do you think?
Are we the
Are black
same?
people the same?
Are all black people the same people?
Yeah, we the same people. Like, are we one people? Like, that's the question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe black people are the same.
Okay. So when you were speaking about evolution, the picture that we have on the screen, because I got you, you know what I'm saying? I understand where you're coming from. The picture that's on the screen is meant to mislead you. You know what I'm saying? Evolution is not saying that people directly evolved from monkeys, even though that's how they teach it in fifth grade science, sixth grade science. It is a theory that is trying to connect all life forms on the planet. You see what I'm saying? So what it's saying is that prokaryotes, which were the only life forms, eventually evolved into eukaryotes, and eukaryotes share genetic material with other organisms. So what they're saying is that essentially we created these people through so-called processes, gradual processes over time. And that has not been genetically or biologically proven because, again, like we have on the screen, neuromelanin. A neuromelanated woman doesn't give birth to an in vitro neuromelanated child. Essentially, they're trying to say that we're the monkeys, we're the great apes, right? And we were the first to evolve, and that these people are the most fit to survive. Or whoever is able to synthesize the sun or adapt to the sun is, you know what I'm saying, is more fit to survive on the planet. But that boils down to your DNA and your genetics, right? That boils down to you having neuromelanin or not, because neuromelanin is condensed sunlight, and that's what functions our cells. So I got you with that prompt, or your response to it, and I got what you mean by us being all the same, meaning that genetically and biologically, embryologically, we are the same people all over the globe, regardless of how we're expressing our behavior today. We stem from the same embryonic origin, and that's proven 1,000 times over. It doesn't matter which so-called person is looking at it. But I heard you say that our people have had a hand in creating these people. What do you mean by that?
I don't think I said that.
Okay. I heard you say
That was
that they would
your
never
point.
allow us. Okay, maybe I misheard you. That's why I was asking you to clarify, because you said that they would never let us get too close or something like that, but we've had our hand in it somehow. I heard you say something along those lines.
No, I think that was your co-host.
No, it wasn't.
Come on, man.
You said
I
something
know for
about our
sure that we
people.
didn't make these people.
Yeah.
Don't try to put it.
Hold on,
Don't
you
try
said
to
that
pass the buck to me.
you said that we didn't make these people?
Yeah, we didn't make these people genetically or biologically. She just told you that we don't naturally have the protein, enzymes, and amino acids of animal DNA in vitro synthetic melanins to produce in vitro synthetic melanin organisms or eukaryotic organisms.
So
Because
you
she
think
holds.
you
Okay, go
think
ahead.
everybody else have animal DNA?
Yes, you can see it in their phenotype that everybody outside of so-called black people genetically expresses animal DNA. They have in vitro synthetic melanins. They shared most of their genetics with rhesus monkeys, orangutans, chimpanzees, monkeys, um, cows, dogs, fish, zebrafish. This is all the animals that they share DNA with, and you've never seen none of these animals in nature reproduce to make an organism. So the only way that they can have came about is through synthetic biology, which has been depicted on the Sumerian tablets. That there's entities, reptilian entities and insectoids that have been on walking on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years, genetically splicing organisms.
Okay, I'm not a geneticist, so I can't speak to what you're talking about, like insectoids and lizard people. However, you know what I mean? I'm not going to rule out anything that I don't know about. However, I would keep an open mind about that. I personally don't believe or have evidence that uh, white tea people or all the others have animal DNA. I don't have that evidence. Until that evidence is presented or I come across that type of research, I will look into it.
Okay, I'm confused now because you saying that. I don't know. I'm kind of confused about his.
Okay, what I'm saying is I don't think that all other people outside of black people have animal DNA. I just don't believe that. I don't know it. So until I know that, I won't. I can't confirm or deny.
So, do you believe in evolution or no? I know you
I
saying
don't
that it's
believe in
not really
evolution.
for
I
us.
I, I
So
don't
where
believe
would
in
different
evolution.
people have come from?
Other different people come from?
Yes.
Well, if we look at the different phenotypes of black people, you can isolate genetic characteristics, and like I believe it was Leakey said, the only way you could account for the physical phenotypical differences amongst the races is they had to develop like isolated. So you have some characteristics that you want, you isolate it, breed it out. And what they call natural selection isn't natural selection. What it is you're isolating different genes and phenotypes that you want, and then you go about producing that.
So you know how you said that you were gonna look more into genetics?
Yeah.
I would advise that because that's what we're telling you. You can't, all of our people, regardless of how so called light or dark we are, have an embryonic origin that's rooted in neuromelanin because there's 48 different expressions that the so called black woman can create that we see. So you cannot splice or make pore formations or cut into our DNA because of the morphic resonance wouldn't allow for it. It's neuromelanated. And neuromelanin is the only biochemical substance that is condensed sunlight, and it can condense sunlight on its own. You need electroporation to make a pore formation. Like when they're talking about splicing DNA, that's done with UV light electroporation. So you can't do that with our cells. And again, this is my third page that I'm on in the comments. I had all my sources posted, but my page just got taken like 2-3 days ago. So I did have Danielle Silverman and cell biologist Dr. John Biggerstaff that literally explained this, that our melanin as so-called black people doesn't allow for splicing or genetic engineering because of because of the morphic resonance, because of the neuromelanin. You can't cut light with light. It's just going to absorb itself, right? So we see several different scientists that are saying that our cells literally function like black holes. So they couldn't have come from us from any type of splicing. It's not within our genetic expression to splice. And then there's nothing within our DNA that can be spliced. You also can use magnetofection, cell sonication, racemization, transfection. None of these ways our cells respond to for splicing. So it doesn't matter which type of hybridization it is, our cells wouldn't allow for it.
Yep, it's called black body radiation. Our cells absorbs all the light spectrum and all the sound spectrum. And you need light and sound to open up the cell or to cut into the cell. So that's what she was explaining. And eukaryotic cell organisms, animal phenotype. That book on the left top corner, that is a DNA book for fifth graders, telling them how much DNA they share with the chimpanzee, the cat, the cow, the mice. This is what that book is explaining to us. And it says that humans are actually genetically closer to chimpanzees than to themselves. Humans means animal man. Animal man, so-called black people, again, we don't have animal DNA. When on the bottom right, you can see that individual, that eukaryotic organism has hypertrichosis. That is animal expression because you share DNA with a dog. You share DNA with a cow. You share DNA with furry animals. So it's expressing itself through the phenotype. And you can clearly see on the top of that Dravidian woman's head, black doesn't mean, the color doesn't mean nothing. There's people darker than us that have animal DNA, and you can see it through their hair, their follicles, because that's really fur. That's what's coming out of her head.
You can see it throughout their entire integumentary system, their skin.
Yeah.
When you walk past them, the smell, because that's phenotype. They smell of, how can I say this without flagging them live? Animals. My bad. Because they naturally produce animal proteins and enzymes.
Sulfur dioxide.
They smell the same as dogs because they share 73% of their DNA with them. They have the same behavior as chimpanzees because that's 98% of their DNA, right? When we look at so-called Asians, they share 86% of their DNA with snub-nosed monkeys, and they look just like that organism. So I got you with that. A horse and not going. Go ahead.
Here's a prompt so you can respond to it.
You're on mute. Go ahead. A horse and not going. Did you mean to request up? All right, request back up. Tasha Bell, how do you feel about the prompt using science? Welcome up.
Oh, good afternoon. I'm not really scientifically minded, but I was intrigued when you talked about the Sumerian texts and the Anunnaki, because I've been reading into that. So I wanted to know what your view was in relation to the prompt about those texts in particular. Do you think that we, Black people, were the original hominids on the planet that we were used genetically to create those other people?
We just explained to him that we didn't. We just gave you the whole breakdown on the melanin and how our we don't have the genetic expression and our cells can't be spliced. So it couldn't have been us. And he just explained the Sumerian text as well.
And I
We
also
just explained
and
it.
I
We just finished stopping like talking about that. My bad.
exactly, and I also said that we're not humans. Humans is what falls under the same category as hominids. Hominids or hominization means the process of becoming a human. We're not humans.
Okay.
Humans have animal DNA. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
yeah, so I
I
would
was just
advise
asking in relation to that
I got
because,
you.
yeah,
I
I just
just
wanted
I
your
just
explanation on that.
Yeah, the thing is, we just told you the explanation of everything that you've been asking. The problem is, if you have that question, I think you should go learn more about science then. If you're not a scientific minded person right now, you should start adapting to that because that's what life's about. Biology is the study of life. Genetics is talking about the origins of a species. So our genetics as so-called Black people doesn't start on a landmass. It starts in the cosmos, inside of stars. So
Okay, so on that point, then, are you saying we're not originally from this planet? We're from somewhere else. Is that what you're saying? I just want to be clear on what
Earth is,
direction you're coming from.
Earth is just one of so-called Black people's homes, nor-melanated people's
Okay.
homes. We are ubiquitous to the entire universe because the entire universe is made up of ether. And that's what makes up our DNA. That is the morphic field that makes up our DNA and makes up our entire suit. So I would advise you to go study more about what's been going on the planet, more about your genetics, and more about what's going to happen to the planet moving forward as these weather anomalies are taking place, as the planet is terraforming. I would advise you to learn yourself because the first rule in the cosmos is to know thyself. You don't need to go in the jungle and tell a lion how to be a lion. You don't need to go outside and tell the tree how to be a tree. You don't need to go outside and tell the sun how to be the sun. They all know how to genetically and biologically move and function with the universe and in unison with themselves.
Okay, that's fine because then you're saying that that should become naturally to us then. That's in our own nature because by virtue of the fact that we're these melanated people, that should just be something that comes naturally to us. We should be able to move through this planet, regardless, because naturally we should be able to move through this planet if the weather gets hotter because of our melanin. We'll be able to adapt because we're part of the universe. We haven't been created out of nothing.
Facts, but if you're eating against your DNA, it's going to be hard for you to get to that point. That's the only exception. If you're eating meat, you're eating them because if you're eating pork ribs, that's pigs. That's what their DNA is composed of. If you're eating chicken, you're eating their DNA because that's what they're made up of, right? If you're eating cows, burgers, that's what they share DNA with. So you would have to get off of that because that's affecting your genetic expression. That's affecting the way that you actually bond with the universe. Every time if you do eat meat, when you're going out to ground and connecting with the universe, you're sending distress signals to the universe, and she's responding back with dandelion. She's responding back with whatever herbs that are growing around you. That's the how we communicate is through telepathy, thought transgression. So you would have to get off of that stuff to actually hear the universe clearly, to actually be one with her. Again, you would have to leave the unnatural sugars alone, switch from at least purified water to spring and distilled water.
Yep.
Right? You would have to get off of the hybridized fruits and veggies as much as possible. That means leave potatoes and celery because that's what their DNA is composed of. They share like 13 to 23% with celery. right? Potatoes, I think it's like 43%. So all the stuff that they feed you is a conglomeration of their DNA.
So
All
like an
the
ITEL kind of diet then, like a Rastafarian, going back that kind of way of eating. Vegan, clean, natural,
Well,
ITEL way.
your ultimate goal should be breatharian. Our people are
No food?
natural. Our people are natural breatharians. But the problem is, like she said, we host antigens, parasites, and carcinogens in our body, and that's what these fruits, that's what these natural herbs are growing for. Earth is responding to your body's biofield, and she's growing things that you need to heal yourself. She is terraforming herself because she's a living organism. She is changing how she's adapting to sunlight. So everything on the planet that is natural and was generated from her has to adapt to the new level of sunlight. And if you're not able to eat directly from the sun and changing into chemical energy, you're going to have a hard time on this planet to survive and live. That is a fact. You see what I'm saying? So right now, we eat bioelectric foods. We eat natural fruits and vegetables that the earth made to that hold a lot of antioxidants, which fills our cells back up with free electrons because that's what we need. Every food that you're eating that's been made through biotech or synthetic biology, all of that causes oxidative stress to your cells, which means it's stealing the electrons, it's stealing nutrients and vitamins. This is why so-called black people, when we eat their diet, we're always malnourished and neuromelanin deficient. We're always coming up with diseases. But before we came into contact with these people biochemically, genetically, aromatically, we didn't know what diseases was. We ate straight from the sun. That's why every depiction of us on a pyramid or a mirror, you see us eating directly from the sun because we understood that it was our medicine. It's what functions our inner anatomy.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, abundance.
So I just got a question because we do know that food and of course the lack of sunlight and all that stuff, it does have some type of effect on our chemistry, our biochemistry. But we do know also that a lot of Europeans, a lot of white tea people, whatever they like to call themselves, spent a long time in the hills and cave sides of Europe. We know that. And as a matter of fact, Time magazine in 2008, October issue, put out article, well, the cover article for that particular cover was called Neanderthals, the Other Humans. And they were going over evidence of their life and things like that from studying caves in Croatia, France, Spain was one of those places, I believe. So, do you believe? I'm not saying the lack of melanin, but do you believe that this transformation that we see in a lot of white tea people, the hair and all over the body and stuff like that, is because of that lifestyle that they were living, if we can call it that, in Europe, in the caves during that time?
You're saying is the reason why we're seeing them not being able to reproduce, having hypertrichosis, and being born with tails and horns is because of how they were placed in those caves because they weren't naturally generated
I've
inside of
never,
those caves.
I've never seen one with horns. I haven't came across any type of information about
And
them having horns.
then I would just tell you that there's more for you to see.
Yeah, that's what we
You see what
keep
I'm
telling
saying?
you, like to go study genetics, to go study gene mutations into who they're happening to, photocarcinogenesis, and how light actually affects and how it interacts with melanin, the different melanin types. Because if we tell you, you have technically asked us the same question 3 times, and I'm not being disrespectful. I'm saying it's because when you gain a base understanding of genetics, then the questions that you're asking will be answered. It's because you are unaware that there's a difference in biology and embryonic origin. There's a difference in genetics. There's a difference in melanin types, right? There's a difference in phenotypic expression, and until you gather a basis of that, it's probably going to be hard for you to grasp what we're saying.
Yeah, honestly, I can't grasp what you're saying, but I will, I'm look into it.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, the evolution theory is the biggest lie ever told to so-called black people. That is the biggest lie ever told to us. This is why we think that we need to pay for water. This is why we think that we need to subscribe to a system to get shelter, to get natural fruits and vegetables when the earth naturally gives us that for free. Through magnetism, which is our real culture. This is how we really cultivate our identity and our personality and express it through life, through inner alchemy. So
He's saying explain multi-generational mixed race people. If a person is mixed, are they BLK or YT, or are they mixed? So that means that they're a completely different species than the both of whoever you're talking about.
yep.
Right. So again, like I'm telling you in the comments, just because you're saying that you're from so-called Africa, it doesn't mean that you're us. If that's you in the PFP as a so-called YT man, if you can claim any title, you're never gonna genetically be us. I don't care where you go. I don't care what title you decide to subscribe to, because that's why the titles were created in the first place, is to keep people from entering and overstanding the genetics. Oh, well, we're all American. Are we? Because what makes you who you are is your DNA, your biology, and your genetics. And genetics and biology is saying that we're not the same. So you telling me that you're African and Elon Musk is South African, okay, cool. Does he look phenotypically anything like our people? No. So think about that question you just asked me.
Yep.
Are they prokaryote too? It depends on their embryonic origin.
If parent A is one species and parent B is a different species, child C is a completely different species
than the both of them.
So any children that child produces is going to be a different species from them.
Exactly. Because of incomplete dominance. All right. So if you take all BLK people, their cells function like prokaryotic organisms. They function like prokaryotes. You take everybody outside of us, though, their cells function like eukaryotic organisms, like eukaryotic cells. And we can see it phenotypically expressed. All right. Yeah. So when it comes to the topic of so-called biracial and mixed, y'all are a different species than both your mom and your dad. You are the newest person on this planet. You're newer than the YT man. You're newer than the so-called Asian man. You're newer than them. And their DNA only goes back 6,000 to 7,000 years.
And in neuromelanated people's immortal history, that's like yesterday. That's yesterday for us. That's 2 days ago. That's how long we've been. Like, that's nothing. And we're so caught up on trying to find out our identity when you can go in the mirror and see it every day. You just put titles. You just put titles in front of it and think that's you.
Yep.
Does the title African, is that what makes your heart pump? Is that what brings blood all the way around you to different organs and feeds them? Is that your brain? No. Is being called an American or Indian American, what does that do? What does that biologically do for you?
Exactly. How is that telling me if this whole time if they can go by the same title as you, what are y'all on about? I don't get it. If these people can just call themselves that, then what's actually gonna give us the freedom and the liberation we need is understanding our DNA.
Yep.
It's as simple as that, man.
Knowing the unity within, you're gonna know how much you need your brothers and sisters without. That's literally that simple. Every time you breathe, every time you take a step, every time you move, all of your cells have to be in a one accordance to do that. That's unity. So understanding that unity, how your red blood cells are unified with your muscle cells, how they're unified with your neurons, how they all work together with your endocrine cells. once you learn that, you will understand why all prokaryotes on the planet work together. Why you see mutualism all over the planet.
Facts. Everything that's prokaryotic is mutual. Every single thing. Ants do more for the planet than these people have ever done. Trees do more for this planet than these people have ever done the whole time they've been here. Bees have done more for the planet than these people. Right? Like, we share more DNA with one single speck of sand than these people ever would. One blade of grass, I share more biology and genetics than these people ever would. Unless they're eukaryotic, unless they're made in a plant ectowomb, right? Because that's what there's a group of scientists called foresters, right? The type of science that they study, the branch of science is called forestry. It's their responsibility to go out in nature and to plant fake trees to mess up the communication between mother and daughter trees. They're telling you that they're saving the earth by planting more trees, but they're specifically planting fake trees. So this is why we have to understand that if you're driving along a highway or an expressway and you see hella trees, I can guarantee you it's infiltrated. If you can see it, it's infiltrated. Even the places that you think are undisturbed have been disturbed.
Exactly.
Everything that you think of, they're digging up. They're the ones that are causing or making the ruins. I have a whole new take of the whole indentured servants and indentured servitude, because they were paying people to go from place to place to make sure that they blew the noses off of the pyramids, blew the noses off of the figurines, off of the statues. They were paying people to do that. They were paying people to go from place to place to ruin our shit. That's why they were the original slaves. They were created to play a role in our oppression. And that's why this is the greatest test of unity. So imagine coming to this app every day and you see our people are fighting for a title, but can't give you 5 to 10 facts about their DNA. Imagine you operating your body 100,000% of the time and you don't know nothing about it. But they do, and they study you. And that's the reason why John D. Rockefeller wrote in the Masonic Creed, every corner that they turn will be poison. Every place that they go will be poison. When they're not thinking of poison, we will put it in front of them. And this is the person that's responsible for creating schools, which comes from the word skole, which means to hold back. Right? I seen a live, I think it was yesterday, and somebody was like, our so-called black men, they're saying that so-called black men are basically trying to say that they're the most ignorant because they're afraid to go to school. But if the so-called black woman, and it's a fact that we're the ones that have the highest numbers when it comes to degree, that a lot of the degrees are oversaturated by us. That would mean that so-called black women in this country are the most indoctrinated. We're making fun of the men that we create, saying that they have low IQ, but 40 to 60% of your IQ comes from your mother, and the rest is influenced by your environment. That's why I'm saying it's so much self-schmate on this app that we not even paying attention, because we don't have a base understanding of biology, DNA, and genetics. So we're just on this app literally sharing feelings every day, projecting our feelings on each other, because no one is moving from the heart space. Everything that we do going forward is going to have to be from the heart chakra. And it's chakras within your chakras. Earth has chakras. Specifically, America is next to the so-called root chakra of Earth. That's why our people here think, oh, we're the greatest, we're the best. Well, you're in the root chakra. And they're harnessing the energy and creating them low vibrations around that. And we out here celebrating failure. And our mother is trying to raise her frequency. And the best that we can do is to come to this app and fight over titles that don't have nothing to do with our ascension, our genetics, who we are for real.
And our children.
And our children. You're not free until we have every single last one of our children back in our possession. Keep fighting for reparations. Keep fighting for this weak ass system that's snatching our children, because we not free until we have every last one of our children back. That's the that y'all having that, y'all asking for money, 40 acres and a fucking mule and everything else. What about our fucking children? That's why I can't get with this app for real. They can take as many of my pages all day long, but that's what keeps me from really locking in with my people for real, because it's y'all's vibration. We could have been shut this shit down. We could have been built pyramids and mounds again. We could have been did that shit again, but y'all rather have the fucking internet.
And all we need is ourselves and our children. That's all we need.
That's that
and we
shit,
can,
man.
We'll rebuild. We can rebuild. We can go back and rebuild solar systems if we just get our children back by just tapping into science. You know, you don't even know what we will start to do on this planet, but y'all so focused on your own personal narrative. That's why people who don't speak up for children, they're only going to speak up for personal endeavors,
Yep.
personal wants. That again is using children's energy to do it. Every luxury lifestyle that you think that you're living, all of that is doing is that's at a dispense of a brother and sister in South America, in Africa, in China, Asia, in America. You're just utilizing us to get your own personal gain.
And it's at the expense of another brother or sister. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild.
Somebody was like, stop going to their stores, and already done. Already done. The universe supplies everything we already need. Y'all are copying her. When you walk into a Kroger, a Baker's, a Super Saver, a Hy-Vee, a Walmart, you're walking, number one, into a lab, a climate-controlled experiment. They make sure as soon as you come in that store that your bones come in contact with antifreeze that you call AC. The air in there is conditioned.
Military environment. That's what they're doing.
Everything in there is a social experiment, and it's a psyop to see who's going to navigate here and where you're going to go first. They study you, everything that you do. That's how powerful you actually are. They say, even though the earth is actually, there's still natural pear trees, plum trees, apple trees. Well, 98% of the apples are man-made. You see what I'm saying? But y'all know where I'm coming from. The dandelion. You see what I'm saying? The cleavers, the red clover, the white clover that's growing out of the ground. We pass all that up to go to Walmart and then come to the internet and complain about it. You can get seeds with food stamps and we still complaining. We could have been used this system to shut it down, anything, but we focus on getting ahead in some shit that was created for us to be the way that we are right now. The only thing that we haven't done is leave this shit alone. We didn't march, fought, got our, excuse me, I'm trying to not cuss as much. We didn't got beat up, abused from the inside out. They wore our skin as book covers, briefcases. You see what I'm saying? Our hair was stuffed with their couches. They fed our children to crocodiles. And we fighting to get ahead and to be like these people. Huh? They poisoning us. They making us pay for water. They're drilling our mother's blood that they call oil.
And put it in a car.
And putting it in a car. Like
that's Earth's blood.
And we fighting to get ahead.
Y'all don't get it, man.
We not getting it. This nigga's still in the comment, all plants are eukaryotic. Would you like to come up, bro? Like, what's up, man?
We told you, we answered your first question because you didn't know about prokaryotes. So I definitely know you don't know about eukaryotes. So why don't you come up and explain why you think the way that you think? You have a throat chakra that you can use. You don't have to keep using you don't have to keep using the chat to talk to us, man.
Why are you typing bots in the chat, man? What's up?
You feel what I'm saying?
Why would you do that? And just type the whole fucking live.
But yeah, $99 billion $99 billion a year goes into child snatching.
Yes.
So you think this system is for the society of humans? No, this system is made to take children and to sacrifice them to their God. and their god is Pindar, Moloch, the Dragon King, Gilgamesh, Enki, Enlil, what they call God Satan. This is who that individual is. And he has a whole group of different extraterrestrials with him. And they're in Rupes Niagara, Black Rock. They stopped putting it in maps after 1529 or something like that. But it's taller than Mount Everest. This is where the eukaryotic creator is at. Most of the insectoids who are doing scientific experiments, these reptilians greys who are doing something, they're underground. But what's happening? The Earth's core is heating up, which is pushing them to the surface. They can't hide no more. This is why certain of them, when you see them on TV, they can't hold their shape on the suit that they're wearing. We've seen 60 Minutes. That was this show.
60 Minutes. Just this past November, they were doing a 60 Minutes about what was taking place in somewhere in the Middle East or maybe India. And a guy, I don't know his name, he's been on the news. I've seen him like my whole lifetime, but his eyes literally shape shifted on camera. And my 5-year-old cousin was like, he looks like a reptile.
Wow.
She's never heard me talk about reptilians or nothing like that. I haven't introduced that to her yet like that. But she said that out of her own mouth. And on my YouTube and stuff like that, I have it posted in some of the captions and stuff so you can see who I'm talking about. One of his eyes was blue and the other one was like black, and another clip it was green. And I mean that they zoomed in on his face. They wanted us to see it. So someone said crazy because once TikTok is gone, where do we talk? This is only happening because of it need own platforms. They listening to. I don't really care that they listening. That's what we telling you. They're the ones that are scared of us.
We're listening to them.
Yeah, we're like, the thing is,
that's
is
what
that
you don't get.
These people fear us and they write about it. I'm not. You got to face that fear if that's the perspective. Where do we talk when this shuts down to each other? What do you mean? That's what we're doing right now. It's just that we're spread out. So we're choosing this system collectively. What I'm saying is that let's stop choosing it and choose it less and less every day, because you can use solar lights over these electric companies.
Yep.
You can grow your own food, whether the seed is messed up or not. You can control it at least. At least you're not growing it in cow manure.
This is why it's important to learn thyself, because you will understand that neuromelanin is the apps. Neuromelanin is the internet. Yes. Neuromelanin is what connects all of us. Every species in nature has their own way of communication through telepathy. Where it's only just lines, where it's only this specific set of trees, where they all have that. We have that as well, because we have piezoelectric crystals, hydrocarbon crystalline structures that make up our pineal gland. We communicate telepathically through our pineal gland, through brain waves. So you have to get out of the beta and alpha brainwave, because we can't hear you. You got to get back into that gamma radiation wave. You feel what I'm saying? That's how we communicate with each other. So people are like, oh, how these phones are going to go. You got to understand the phones, tablets, TV, radios, cars,
military tech.
That's military tech, so they can spy on you for this system to give you synthetic nutrients to see how you behave on that.
Nah, I don't speak surface level because I'm not on the surface. I feel you, but I talk from where my vibration is, because that's what actually helps the next brother or sister wake up.
Yeah. We've been on the surface already.
Authenticity is the highest vibration. So I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Our people are neuromelanated, the most intelligent beings walking. We don't have to sugarcoat or speak on a surface level to each other, because we're the core of consciousness. All right. I get where people is coming from, but in the same time, I don't.
Yeah, we can't speak surface level when our children are getting snatched right under our feet.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? I can't allow that shit. We can't be surface level when millions and millions of our children are getting taught by a foreign species, and you would never see that in nature. Nature is showing us how we should be structuring our family. Yeah. I hope y'all know that. Thanks. But we're not watching nature. We're too busy watching the eukaryotic cell and his dysfunctional family and his dysfunctional mind on how they're backstabbers, they're deceivers, how they trick each other, and now we start to perform these same habits towards each other. So we have to start opening our hearts up just to really know how deep this really goes. And once you open up that heart, you have to clear your mind of who you thought you were and start learning who you truly are. Nobody's going to come down and tell you who you are. You have to learn who you are. You are in that vessel to learn and master your mind. Master the frequencies that come in and master the frequencies that you generate out of your body. That's on you. You can't blame that on nobody. Your thoughts, you have to know how to separate them. You have to know how to align them with different actions and feelings and chakras. You can't mix all your thoughts. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? You have to understand that. You have to understand how your sensitivity to truth. Mm-hmm. How well do you absorb truth? When you absorb truth, do you get mad? Do you get happy? How do you feel when you absorb truth? Really sit with yourself through metacognition and ask yourself. Well, you know when you make decisions. You see what I'm saying? So why don't you ask when you make these decisions, is this the path I'm really trying to take to elevate my people? If I take this path, every decision that you make is two paths, ignorance or knowledge or truth. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, when you take this path, ask yourself, is this really going to help my people be a civilization like we once were on this planet, like we are on different planets?
Facts. We
have to get back. We're in a level 0 civilization right now, mm-hmm. because we're relying on a different species, a foreign species, to grow and develop. Yep. When our neuromelanin is self-civilizing, self-sustaining, self-repairing, self-organizing, I don't know how, if it's self-sufficient, if our neuromelanin is self-sufficient, why is we on a macro level of our macromolecule neuromelanin not behaving the same way? Mm-hmm. Because your genetics is supposed to express phenotypically. So somebody is trying to stop how you phenotypically supposed to fully express. That's why we only are using 3% of our bodies right now. This body that you're in, that's only 3% of your power.
And we think we got it all figured out. And we're like, oh, you got to do this and then get your trust fund and then da-da. That's not it, man. That's some shit to keep you in the system. And it's like, when we get all that shit back, them niggas still gonna be expressing their genes the same. You're not free. We don't have our children. So that's why I'm trying to figure out how any of what's being talked about on this app leads us to getting our children back. You want land and we want our children. You want the artifacts, I want the children.
That's the greatest technology.
That's why I'm saying we can't, that's why I say everybody we got to come together. If we come together, it'll flop in 10 minutes because we're not in the same frequency. Some people, you see that person I just muted in the chat? They trying to get our people to buy into whatever they trying to sell so people can, it's some religious shit. We go out in nature right now. You know how many of our people are still going to push this system, still push religion, still push mate? Because that's all they know.
Literally.
They don't know nothing else besides YT supremacy. Racism and cultural appropriation.
They haven't been expanding their morphic field, their memory.
And these is cults, by the way.
Facts.
I don't know if anybody is understanding that. Like that a lot of these TikTok lives and shit is cults. This FBA shit is a cult. This Solani shit is a cult. American Indian shit is a cult. Every single title is a cult. That's not our DNA. I don't care that is not telling me nothing about who you really are. Guess what is though? We left it in stone for each other, and that's our genetics. Imhotep was the first documented multi-genius. And it wasn't just him. The brothers and the Olmec brothers knew the same thing.
They shared information.
They built the pyramids together.
Simultaneously, all the pyramids was built at the same time.
For the same reason, which was to channel energy from the stars. because this planet was only one of our homes. We circumnavigated the cosmos together. You can't do that individually.
Yep.
Not through, if you got to travel through the fabric of the universe, neuromelanin, you got to use her to get to another part of her. Because all of it is that. That's why I'm not understanding the landmass shit is low IQ. I'm gonna keep it, but that's a slow flow of neuromelanin.
Exactly. And these people will tell you they built the pyramids, but you don't know that those pyramids sends photonic messages and radio waves messages to other brothers and sisters on other planets.
Communication.
So how are you focused on just America or just this or just Africa when you exist ubiquitously on different planets? That would mean that that would mean that you can go on another planet right now and be like, that's my home. You can go on Venus right now and that's your home. I don't get it. Like, that's what I'm saying. We can easily get back to ourselves and get back to our babies.
Yes, and Aries, the Becoming Supernatural, the book that you got talks about that. You're gonna see that in the brain scans. You're gonna see that. And also the female and male brain book, they talk about that too. By who is it? Luann, I forgot her last name. Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna post all my shit again. I'm really trying to decide. You know? I'm really trying to decide, man. Because each time they take my account, they take all the data, everything that was in my drafts, everything. You know? So I'm probably gonna start going live on YouTube. I'm probably going to make a Facebook and get my Instagram back too. Because TikTok is too sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't, and then I'm not going live because then they're going to ask me for my identity. They took me down faster on this account than they did my first one. I had my first account for 3+ years. They took me down in weeks, 2 weeks on my second account. So the facial recognition is, I'm not fucking with that on here, you know?
Yep. And neuromelanated people, anytime somebody says, oh, show me proof, they're asking you to show you proof that all so-called black people's common ancestor is the sun, it's a single cell organism that is floating in the sky.
Yeah.
You need me to tell you proof that I absorbed the sun when I can clearly go outside and be darker than I first went out there, which means that I've retained the sunlight and now it's chemically spread through my body. Like, you need me to prove that? No, I think you need to prove to yourself that you have the willpower to learn about yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
Everybody want us to prove it to them. Like, and if we don't, and if we stutter too many times while we're proving it, then we're wrong.
Yeah, that's not how the universe works.
Yeah, like, y'all, I don't know. Like, if you don't like stuttering, you can't listen to me then.
You can't listen to us.
If you want perfection and not progression, don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Like, don't just, yeah.
We move through Kaizen. It doesn't matter if we progress 1% a day or 20% or 100%. We progressing. We getting back to our higher selves, and we're not gonna let nobody try to inflict their self-doubt about who they are onto us when we know who we are. Mm-hmm. You're not finna see a rhino go tell a lion, you're not a lion. You're not a lion. Do you have proof that you're a lion? Show me you're a lion. No.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
No.
I can guarantee you. And we know they're not doing that because they communicate through telepathic messaging and thought transgression just like we do.
Facts.
See, I'm sitting here actually using telepathy with every neuromelanated person on the planet, but even in this live, the last and final step of that thought transgression is me speaking.
Mm-hmm.
That's why study, you know what I'm saying? That study it. Study communication and thought transgression, telepathy, and study the brain. The female brain and the male brain book by Luann, I forgot her last name. I'll grab it in a second. Both those are free. Unless you just want them paperback, them is PDF downloadable. Becoming Supernatural, PDF free downloadable. You see what I'm saying? Somebody said, what are our favorite books? Morphic Resonance by Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. Why Darkness Matters, which is written by 4 of our people. They're neuroscientists, psychiatrists. Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, Richard King, T. Owens Moore, and N.C. Brown. Yep. Melanin, What Makes Black People Black by Dr. Layla Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he literally talks about in all of his work that Africa is just the title, that it is just something that they widely use in science. They just use that word to talk about us.
To talk about black people across the globe.
They just say that to divide us.
Literally. And he says he doesn't he knows that to get the books published, they have to speak like these eukaryotic ones. You see what I'm saying? We have to use their Latin words, their pig Latin to talk. So know that the energy in which we're saying it in is more important than what is the titles actually is presenting. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand that. And if you want to understand more about biology, like prokaryotic cells, eukaryotic cells, the difference in supercoiling in the DNA, how the DNA is highly concentrated in the nuclear region, you see what I'm saying? You need to understand that biology for dummies, genetic for dummies, stem cells for dummies, neurology for dummies, anatomy and physiology for dummies. These books right here would tell us the basics. It tells you the foundation. And we're still learning every day. We don't know all that's needed. You know what I'm saying? We're not telling you to be at the same level as us. We're not the bar. You know what I'm saying? There is way more intelligence to be known on this planet, and we need all of us to get there. That's it. We need that. So those are the books. We also have Divine Carbons edition 1 and 2 that will help you know about your neuromelanin and stem cells as well.
That's an all-inclusive book. I'm not gonna lie. That's written by our people too. They're a couple, and they wrote that book together, and it's a 3-part series. The first book is only like 40 pages. The second book is like 80. And those books right there is like, if you're starting out in spirituality or if you're starting out learning yourself, that's actually the place to start, in my opinion. I'm not going to lie. Divine Carbon, the first book, is really like that, lays it down. It talks about the diet, spermatogenesis. It tells you the man, the woman, and the child. How y'all should be eating. Is recipes in there. Alkaline food versus acidic foods. How neuromelanin is the soul, the core of consciousness. Yep. It's like a big picture book, but all the key words that they have in there is what you need to know.
That would be great if you have Starseeds children.
Yeah,
that will be the best book to start with them to learn about your neuromelanin and how its connection to the sun.
It's for so-called beginner adults and their children. It's perfect for that.
Perfect.
It's not gonna go over your head or the child's. It's the best book ever. So and The Great Cosmic Mother is also really. I'm telling you. I'm not gonna lie. I wonder what Zell is gonna say, but Great Cosmic Mother is my favorite book. That's actually my favorite book. I don't know. The developmental psychology of the Black Child, Dr. Amison Wilson.
Yep.
The Big Book of Chakras and Chakra Healing by Dr. Susan Shumsky.
Yep. It tells you all about all your energetic centers and your meridians and all the virtues that is associated with them. So you need to understand that what you think is literally shaping your reality through your chakras. It's flowing through your chakras first before the melanated centers on your spine. Before they express physically in the stem cells, it had to be through the wheels of your chakras first. So before you get intoxicated, it had to happen spiritually first. What do you allow in your eyes? What do you allow in your mouth when you eat? What do you allow in your ears? What do you allow on your skin? That tells us how you are going to be feeling and functioning as a being.
Yeah, facts. Because we communicate through chemical messages, our hormones. Yeah. So if you're using, Bath and Body Works and shit of the sort, they explain that through molecular gastronomy, right? Which is also another for dummies books that I don't quote enough. But they have molecular gastronomy as well. And molecular gastronomy is basically the study of the manipulation of not just food and cosmetics, but the nutrition facts as well and the ingredients. Gastronomy means stomach astronomy. So it's a branch of science that will really tie it together for you with the gut and brain connection. because your gut is basically like your second brain or your lower brain. And that's why they keep you hungry. They keep you malnourished, which is what is talked about a lot in the developmental psychology of the Black child with Dr. Amos and Wilson. He proved back in the 50s the connection between us and sickle cell is because of dairy. Right? This is why certain diseases affect us more than it does anybody else, is because it goes against our genetics and it adds antigens to the red bloodstream. All right. So molecular gastronomy, when it comes to like natural flavors, when you're looking at a lot of this stuff that has the ingredient natural flavors, that could be up to 500 different things under that one phrase. Right? Even fragrance, I think it's 1,500 to 3,000 different substances that can go under that one word. It was a patent that was passed in the 80s for that.
Yeah.
So if it could be 5 ingredients, but if you see a fragrance that's looking more like 3,000 and just that one single jar of whatever you're looking at. So all of those things that I just named and what we're talking about are endocrine disruptors. Right? The endocrine system is responsible for producing hormones. And that's also what messes up the connection between mother and child, or between our people, or between, us as like a species, because we communicate chemically first, biochemically first. Yep. Right? And I'm looking at these women that are giving birth like these in the hospital and stuff like that. And they're like decorating the hospital room, putting wigs on, makeup on. It's like the baby don't even know y'all. The baby is born and don't even know who the fuck you are because you have on wigs, lashes, makeup, which is all endocrine disruptors.
Which is disrupting the immune system of the child who doesn't even have a fully grown immune system or lymphatic system.
And I was just going to say that it messes up the bond between mother and child specifically because it messes up the oxytocin, the amount of oxytocin that is produced. You have all of that on your skin. You have that fake hair that they're doing rituals with, by the way. What you think is a 40-inch bust down, they just did something low vibrational. I'm trying to not use the word without, flagging the live. They just gave themselves away through a ritualistic practice, and you're slapping it on your head with glue. And you have it next to this precious baby, this newborn child. We got to really start thinking about what we're doing. You see what I'm saying? Because that's why a lot of our women, when they're birthing their child, there's a lot of dissociative disorders, or how our women tend to disassociate. It's because of the environment, how we just gave birth to the child, what we're passing down epigenetically. You see what I'm saying? Everything that's on the outside of the cell gets copied and passed down to the child through the morphology. Right? And you can just study the morphology of a red blood cell, which is created by the stem cells in the bone marrow. See what I'm saying? That's what is responsible for the health of your blood. It's healthy bones. Everything has to be healthy. The mind, right? The skin,
the soul, mind, and body.
Yeah, everything has to be one within itself. Each chakra has chakras in it. It has to be aligned. One chakra is multiple chakras within it. Right? So we just have to be careful of what we're doing because they're making you do everything on a phone. This is the metaverse. That's why they say Facebook by metaverse, Instagram by metaverse. They already have you in it. And it was very slick how they did it. Now people get dressed to come on TikTok, to go to do speed dating, to have church.
Get ready with me.
Like everything is do it on the phone.
Yeah.
You're already in the metaverse. If you ever looked at Black Mirror, we are already in that. And by the time they show it to you, you already in it.
Yeah, those fake leaders that they say that made these apps, no, they're just placed there as puppets. This is military technology. You know what I'm saying? The military had Instagram and Snapchat first to spy on themselves before they did it to us.
Yeah, and the Great Cosmic Mother talks about that in the patriarchal part of the book. It's split into matriarchy, patriarchy. And in the patriarchal part of the book, it talks about this society that we're in today was constructed as far back as the 13th century. Starting with with the pronunciation always throws me off. Panoptic societies and panotopia, right? Pan means all, optic is eye, vision, all seeing, and they're always talking about a big brother. You're being watched, right? Even the whole thing with religion, like, oh, like, because Granny transcended, she's looking down at us, or God is watching us. Like, the thing is that if he's watching all this happen, why is he how can he actually see this? How can he see his own children get snatched and the most horrendous things happen to, you see what I'm saying?
And they don't even understand that their God, their Lord, all of that leads back to Lizard King.
Right.
So you're saying the Lizard King is watching us. Yes, he is watching us to study and mimic us. That's why he created his society called the Illuminati, the fake illuminated ones.
Right.
He says he's a part of the royal family. You see what I'm saying? That's the fake royal family. To be royal, you need to have sunlight within your blood. You need to have sun blood. You need to have the sun. You need to have the blood of the sun and the consciousness of the universe directly.
Davon S24, did you want to say something? You're on mute. Okay, it might have been an accident because I think I see him leaving. But yeah, y'all, evolution is the biggest lie we're told because we did not go from haploids to diploids of another species. One Eye J talking about we're all cooked. That's just your people. And you keep coming back live after live trying to push your narrative on the rest of us. And we've been telling you at least for a solid year plus now what's happening to your people and what's happening to ours. And you just dry ass in here every time saying the same thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we ain't cooking under the sun.
Yeah, we're not cooking. That's only happening to a certain group of people.
Yeah.
Certain people are undergoing black body radiation, and then there's your people that are undergoing acute body radiation. Facts. Whether you claim to be mixed or not, you're a completely different species than us. All right, so you're undergoing something different than us under the sun. All right, so are all so-called black people the same? Yes. And what's the explanation and the science behind that? Atoms start out as cells. And the same atoms that are the fabric of the universe, ubiquitously and amorphously, is what actually construct and bind our DNA, our chromosomes, our cells. It's the same thing. Regardless of how we're behaving today, we're far away from the truth. One brother or sister might be getting influenced by the so-called Dravidian man, and you are here in America getting influenced by the YT man. They differ in incomplete dominance on a biological level. That's why our expression will be different. Who socialized you?
Yeah.
Who was responsible for you directly seeing the lie the way that you see it today?
Exactly. There was a moment in time where your whole anatomy, your whole brain, mind shines so bright that beings that didn't have neuromelanin couldn't walk up to you. But somehow this eukaryotic cell can walk up to us, abuse us, perform scientific experiment on us today. And we don't want to equate that to us dropping in intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that means we're scared of the truth, and we have to stop being scared of the truth.
Yeah, we got to stop being scared to face the truth. Your title, you shouldn't put your title above our children. You shouldn't put the title above the sun. And we're getting restricted and stuff like that. And he's already on his last strike for this account. So we probably finna head out. You know what I'm saying?
So we can come back later on.
Yeah, and then we'll share our backups and stuff. Because Zell has like 2 other pages that we just haven't gone live on in a long time. And those accounts have a lot of people that we haven't talked to in a long time. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually interested to get on Zell and his end. That account that's going to be tough to run evolution on that account. And we'll go from there, y'all.
And I wanted to just let y'all off with this. Why would reptilians and sectoids work this hard and use scientific manipulation for this long to keep you asleep? What is it about you? What is it about us that they don't want us to tap into? Why are they trying so hard to disrupt the relationship we have with ourselves, with our mothers, with our brothers, with our fathers, with our aunties, with our cousins? Why are they trying to separate us so much? What is inside of us that is we have to understand? Like, we have just ask that question and really think, because I really value our people. I remember us when we built pyramids. I remember when we were surfing, navigating the cosmos, when we built Earth. This comes to you when you learn about prokaryotic cells, when you learn about neuromelanin, when you really want to open your heart to your people. The truth comes to you.
I just wanted to address the comments, like somebody saying they're gonna upload it a week later. You were already present for the live, and it sounds like you've listened to all of our YouTube. So let me ask you this: when are you gonna actually start speaking the truth instead of waiting for somebody else to upload something that you were already present for? So this is what I mean by it's never enough for even our own people. We can come on here. I'm on my 3rd fucking page, and that's not even enough. Oh, they're gonna do it a week later. Should we even be? I'm done. I don't even, TikTok just be. I'm good on it. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day.
Abundance, y'all.